The other day, I was talking to a group of intermediate players and no one knew how or when to use the plays we're going to go through. So I made this video to break them down and send you on your way with a few new tricks up your sleeve. Hey guys, my name's Drew Baird. You may have seen glimpses of me in our previous videos, but I've been primarily behind the camera. I met Connor years ago through the junior tennis world, and we ended up as college teammates. Now we're grinding pickleball. And today's video is going to be a little bit different. We're talking about what makes Ben John so good, so unpredictable, and the reason why he's #1 in the world. Let's get into it. The first play we're going to see some examples of today is the Erne. Essentially, the Erne is when you jump over the kitchen to get closer to the net for an easy shot. Now let's take a look on how to set one up. So I want you guys to keep an eye on Ben here and how he uses push dinks to set up the play. A push dink is a slightly more aggressive dink that can push your opponents back and maybe give you an opportunity to do some damage. Remember, we're never dinking just for the sake of dinking. Notice how both teams are moving around and working the point. What's really important to note here is how Ben and his brother Colin are hitting deeper dinks around the kitchen line. The best way to set up an Erne is to analyze the player directly in front of you. Do your due diligence to try and anticipate when they might be off balance, which could lead to a pop-up closer to the sideline. That's a great push dink by Colin, and boom! Ben saw this and anticipated that it might be a great opportunity to hit the Erne. If you think this shot is crazy, guys, you'll be shocked to see what we have waiting for you later in the video. Whoa, that's not just an Erne, that's a Burt. The Burt is a combination between a poach and an Erne. Ben noticed that he could take this shot from his partner and have enough air to make it across the sideline. Feel free to try this at home, just don't tear your ACL. But actually, this shot is not out of the realm of possibility. You just have to put your thinking cap on and learn to anticipate the opportunity for it. Okay, we're back into a dinking situation here. Pay attention to where Ben and Colin's dinks are landing. Also, look at how active Ben is with his footwork. He's not out there dinking just to stay in the point. He's looking for something. We're about to find out what for. There it is, perfectly done. Now we're going to switch our attention to their opponent that popped the ball up. Especially look at his footwork when Colin hits this push dink. You can see that he gets a little off balance here leaning off the court. As soon as he does, Ben's there to capitalize and get the point. The Erne is much more commonly used in doubles play, but in this example, Ben proves that you can pull it off in singles too. This play made the list because it's definitely worth your time to play around with and see if you can implement it into your games. Okay guys, now we're moving on to this next play that Ben uses in almost every single point. It's super effective and it's called the roll volley. The main time Ben uses this shot is when the ball is hovering around the height of the net. If you get a mid-height ball, the roll volley is definitely one of your best options. The goal of this play is to add a little bit of topspin, so even if you add pace to your shot, it'll still drop in. The extra spin also makes it a little bit harder for your opponent to get clean contact off their paddle face. Notice how in this point, Ben gets a lower ball, maybe even slightly below the height of the net. He's able to hit a roll volley speed up due to the topspin that brings the ball back down before it sails long. I'm not suggesting anyone to try this right away, but it can definitely add a layer of mystery to your game. Now this play can be effective as a speed up, but the roll volley's main purpose is to keep your opponents at the baseline when they attempt to hit drops. You'll see that in this example. If you feel like these tips and highlights are worth a share, remember to send this video to your main partner. Now that Ben pushed his opponents back from the kitchen, he uses roll volleys to dip the ball at their feet. This makes it really difficult for them to hit an effective drop due to the spin. Now we're back into a kitchen rally. Look at how Ben uses the roll volley as a speed up to catch his opponents off guard. And here, Ben does something really smart. He hits a pretty difficult roll volley, but is still able to aim it at Tyson McGuffin's right shoulder. The right shoulder is one of the best targets players should aim for on their speed ups, which is why the dink pad is a great training aid for this. If you want to check out the dink pad, the link's in the description below. There's no better feeling than pulling off this next play to get a quick point. It's the fake drop shot. This is best used when your opponents are pushed back behind the baseline and you feel like if you drop, they'll have no chance to run it down. As you see here, Ben takes his paddle back like he's going to hit another smash, and at the last second he uses his soft hands to hit a drop shot. This next point is a pretty incredible highlight, so sit back, relax, and pay attention to how Ben wins it with a fake drop.
Definitely able to catch up to it a couple of times.
And that's how it's done, my friends. I love watching Ben play because he really has mastered all the major strategies. There's a reason he's been so dominant in the past couple of years, so I'm having a great time breaking this video down for you guys. Alright, I still get to pick apart 2 more plays for you. While number 1 is definitely the most effective on the list, number 2 turns heads every single time it's used. You guessed it, the ATP. As you can see in this example, Ben gets an opportunity to use the ATP when he's pulled wide off of the court. That's obviously the only time you can use this shot, so I don't know why I said that. But what's important to note is that when you attempt this play, you need to aim hard and low at your opponent's feet. If you hit it too high with not enough pace, your opponents are going to have a field day smashing it to the open court. In this example, pay close attention to Ben's footwork after he hits the around the post. First, I want to say that his ATP here was a little too high, but he made up for it by quickly getting back into position, ready to defend. Like I said earlier, the number 1 play on the list is by far the most effective and realistic. So if you plan on taking one tactic from this video, it's this one. You might accidentally end up leaving some welts on your opponents, but if it gets you the point, it'll probably be worth it. Alright guys, the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's get into the body bag, or a nicer way to put it, smashing higher balls at your opponent's feet. Okay, let's look at this example. We're in a fast hands battle here, and as soon as Ben gets a higher ball that he can add some pace to, he knows his best option is to aim directly at his opponent. Smashing balls that are above your shoulder at your opponent's feet are really difficult to defend against. Sometimes you might accidentally aim too high and tag them right in the chest, but don't feel too bad. If it gets you the point, it gets you the point. You can always say sorry. The reason Connor and I put this play at number 1 is because it can be applicable to players of all levels. Plus it makes for some really good highlights. Let's take a look at this one. Ben defends a really difficult speed up from his opponent. It looks like he read him like a book here because he counterattacked so well. By the way, this was our first pro analysis, so it would be really helpful if you guys gave your opinions on this video in the comments. If you like it, as always, dink that like button. We always appreciate how much our community supports us. And also, we saved the best highlight in this video for last. Check out the placement of this body bag. Ben shows no mercy here. And after you watch, make sure to check out all the other videos in our channel. We've spent quite a bit of time building up a good catalog of coaching tips for all the pickleballers on YouTube. Thanks for watching, guys.